All right, let's jump in. Um, Once I figure out. There we go. All right. As if you don't guys don't know, I'll skip through all of this stuff. You've heard me talk enough about it, but I will. I guess the highlight would be this is my 30th year in the profession. 17 coming up on 17 years as a business owner, and so a lot of this information comes from what we've done on Mentoring Mondays, the conversations we've had there. I've written a couple articles. I'll throw that in the Dropbox as well on business, um, and then just kind of my own trials and tribulations of running a business. And so I we'll get through that aspect of it. Oh, and then I got a couple responses already, Jerry, about Roundtable Tuesdays. And now that Nolan's on here, um, I think that would be I think that would be cool moving forward if we could do at least a couple times a month on that. And that would be submit your boundary issues or that you kind of want to have a roundtable discussion about on how you would approach a boundary issue on one of your particular projects. And so yeah, excuse me. So, hey, you stopped using Roundtable Tuesdays. So we're moving on with it. And Jerry and Kyle and Landon and I were chatting last week on emails about possibly kind of taking Roundtable Tuesdays into um, where we can submit boundary problems and then get to talk about how you would approach it and that kind of stuff. So that's I got a little bit of feedback already going on that, Jerry. And so we'll see over the next couple conferences and see what everybody's up for on that. And then the other one I threw out there was like a CST Thursday. That was one of the ones that we've been kind of I've been wanting to work on as well and kind of creating a study group session for CSTs as well. So I did get some feedback on that one as well. So um, look for those. Hopefully by the end of the month, we'll kind of get some things going on those as well. But as Jerry said in the beginning, he's busy doing retired things, and this is what he wants to do with his retired time. So we love Jerry's time and energy when he puts this stuff together. So, all right, for those, a lot of the couple of things in the beginning are a lot of just conversations about, um, who you get licensed, you've become licensed, and now you've you're running you're not really running the show, but you're being a PM, you're getting to see the invoices, you're starting to see the money that comes in. And so you see the financial benefit of the front end of the business. And you don't get to see the headaches of what it actually takes to run a business. And so um sometimes you think that just the easiest part in business is doing a survey. The rest of it is mind numbing of kind of collecting on that work and the business aspects of it when it comes to all that. So you feel like you have, some individuals, they have the personality for entrepreneurship. I knew when I got into the career, I wanted to have my own business by the time I was 30, and I started it a couple weeks before my 32nd birthday. And so I wasn't too far off my goals. I got licensed at 28 and a half. And even when I got licensed, I still wasn't that's the farthest thing from my goal at the time. Um, you're just not ready when you get that license. And we're never really ready, right? We're learning every single day. And so, um, sorry, I am having to let people in as I do this, but so you're never really ready when it comes to a business aspect of it. But I believe you definitely want a few more years after your licensing. Hold on, sorry, it's hard to run both of these. Once you get licensed, you definitely want a few more years of learning more ropes and trying to work your way up through the business aspect of it, getting a little bit more involved. Because those are the tricky side is is the business side of it. So um, that these first couple of paragraphs came from Dan's book that I shared in the Dropbox as well. So the now, once you get through it and you intend to be successful, so what does it take? And this is the first one right off the bat. This is again from Dan's book, the willingness to work very hard, and that's kind of an understatement. When you're doing 16, 20 hours worth of work, you'll see you have a good idea of what you want to do, right? And so that's again, there was actually a phone call on my voicemail just a second ago that they called, and gentleman out of California, once his client reached out to do a boundary topo in Nevada, He doesn't do boundary topo work, and he's not licensed in Nevada. So he certainly called us. So staying within your expertise is a big one, and getting that idea of what you want to do. A grasp, basic grasp of base, good Lord, business principles, really important. The financial means to make it happen. We'll talk about that here in a little bit as well. Um, what plan to go with, I started June 1st, 2008, and wasn't able to pay myself my first basically $1,000 until February of '09. I went close to 8 months with no money in my pocket. So you've got to be able to have the financial means to make it work. Even on the survey side, you've got to have those sales abilities to be able to do this type of, you know, to talk to the clients, those soft skills. So the sales and the soft skills are really important, and enthusiasm for the land surveying profession itself, right? And so those are, for me, and you guys hear me talk about it all the time, but my business and my career are all also my hobbies and my passions. And so for me, it just makes running a business that much easier. And so that's why I don't feel pressured from a work standpoint all the time. But um, same thing kind of from I have too many things. You're going to work. This is the biggest one, right? And I was the same way. You're working 16, 20 hours, or 16, 12 to 16 hours a day. You're traveling, trying to get these new jobs, that kind of stuff. And you've got a young family. When I gave notice, my wife didn't work. She was a stay-at-home mom, and we had let's see, Heather would have been, I started in '08. Heather would have been 6, and our son Aaron would have been 10. So I had a 6 and a 10-year-old at home, and she was the only, and I was our only source of income. And so making all of that time work, the work-life balance aspect of it too, when you're trying to start a business, is really stressful. You're going to be doing everything, right? You're paying the bills, you're cleaning the office, um, and you still got to get the work, deliver the work, invoice the work, that kind of stuff. Um, keeping as Dan says here in his book, you got to keep the crew rig repaired, the instruments adjusted, and the computers working. Those are, when you're starting off a business, you're doing every single thing under the sun. And so the other one you got to keep in mind too is when you bring on staff, you've got to be able to kind of articulate how you were doing things and being able to train them. So now you're bringing on staff, and you got to train them how to do your job as well. Yeah, George just threw in here, finding your niche can lead to success, right? And so um, George was commercial real estate and water rights. There's, pick your niche when it comes to that kind of stuff. Make sure you have enough expertise. Good stuff there, George. And be able to train your staff. That's the other one we were just talking about there. Train your staff on making sure that you guys can all do the job. I'm going to go just a couple of things to go over kind of where the current industry is. I didn't go into licensing numbers. This is more on the business side of things. Going through developing a business plan, market analysis, set up your goals. For me, building a brand and image, that's super important. Effective client relationships, effective business management, creating the culture, employee retention, and then of course we'll end with Q&As. Mhm. Lisa's taking the dog home. So the current where we are, kind of, this was the reports from 2021. Hold on. Please hold. I gotta take the dog.
Business management.
Business management 101. The dog
I think
the
your
dog
dog
won't
chasing
leave.
my cat.
I love it. See? The dog won't leave with Lisa without me. So I've always got to walk her to the door. So that's funny. But so the current numbers, these were some 2021 numbers, and you can go in and run the report for 2022. And I go through the next slide. So there's roughly around 7,000 firms in the country. 62% of them have less than 5 employees, and 23% of them have less than 9 employees. So 6,000 of the 7,000 surveying firms in the country have less than 9 employees, which when we talk about this from a mentoring standpoint, um, just mentoring the next generation as well. It's hard to train your staff when the bulk of the survey profession is made up of less than 9 employees. So 12% of them have 10 to 19 employees, 6% of 20 to 49, and then a whopping 1.5% of all the other firms have over 50. So and then the 2022 data on the right hand side here, when you run those census reports, guys can click on those links, but the census report says about 7,000 firms, and we're up to about $11.25 billion industry now. I ran this report a couple of years ago when I was doing this, and we were sitting at, I think, at about 9 billion. So roughly 72,000 jobs associated with the profession, and a payroll of around 4.8 billion, which on most businesses, if you look, payroll equates to about 50%. And so that's actually pretty close to the number on the industry as well. Um, I talk about this from Nevada gaming because I live in Las Vegas. So the gaming industry here in Nevada with gaming and hotels is around 34 billion, and it supports 386,000 jobs. And I drink a fair amount of bourbon, and so I always relate it to the bourbon industry as well. And that's about a $9 billion industry for one state and 23,000 jobs. But so surveying for the entire U.S. is about 11 billion and 72,000 jobs, and Kentucky bourbon's one industry, one state, and it's $9 billion. So it's always fun to kind of put numbers together when you mess around with that stuff.
Does that mean
But
we got to drink more?
yeah, drink more so that we can get more work done. There's the information on the Census Bureau. You guys can always go on and pull those data reports. If you like number and data, they're fun to mess with. So questions or thoughts kind of on just those couple of things? I know it's first part of the presentation, but I always like to throw some breaks in there so we can chit chat. So
Quick
um,
question. Hi.
yeah, go for it, Summer.
Summer.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm not licensed yet, but I'm a business owner. Is this like this is really, really important, everything you're saying,
yeah.
like so far. But is any of this going to be geared towards any of those that aren't licensed? Because again, like we all have the same troubles, but
Yeah.
I need to be able to reach the folks on my team that are, and convey this over.
Yeah. Well, two things. One, right, this will be recorded. From a non-licensee, yeah, we'll get into, and I'll do some sidebars on even just developing staff so we can go through some of that. I go through a lot of the software and that kind of stuff. So, but non-licensee specific, I mean, I guess like you said, it all correlates to everybody because even our staff, we want to help have the business understanding as well, right? So it all makes us successful. So
Awesome.
yeah. So we'll kind of play with that. See where that takes us.
Perfect. Thank you.
Uh, Question,
Go
Trent.
for it, Mr. Glenn.
Um, that 72,000
Yes.
or 7,200 jobs, do you see that trending downward in the coming years because of technology impact?
When we talk about it, even from a licensing numbers, I always say we're all as extremely busy as we can be. And I can't imagine that that we can get the work done with any less. Um, so do I see it getting lower? And I wouldn't say so. And I think I hope a lot of firms are starting to go back to two-man crews. I know it's not so much the trend when you look at Facebook, but I'm hoping we get back to that aspect of it. But again, I'm hourglass looking ahead. I don't I can't imagine it getting much smaller than we are right now. But
Uh,
and I'm starting to see. Like I said, I didn't go over licensing numbers, but the things are starting to trend back up. All of the bar graphs that I'm putting together for FS and PS exams are starting to trend up. So I think we might have hit the bottom, in that 2016, 2017 to basically 2020 range. And so I feel like we're going to start building some more workforce again.
all right. Thank you for your insight.
See, I so I changed this one for mentoring. Um, when I'm doing it for Oregon, we're based out of Oregon, but I picked the geographic center of the United States for this company. We're in Lebanon, Kansas is where we're going to build our Precision Land Surveying LLC. So this is just running through a quick little business plan. I'm hoping when you guys start to pencil out and want to start your business, you start on your business plan, and that's just as simple as the name of your business, location of your business, services you're going to offer. This is where we talk about kind of, starting to work on your markets that you want to work in and where you have your expertise. Target markets, who you're going to reach out to, right? Commercial real estate. Like George said, he was all commercial real estate guys. There's some firms that are 100% residential, construction staking firms. So contractors, government, that kind of stuff, government agencies, public works type stuff, architects, engineers, all that kind of stuff. So, and then as I say there, reach out to other surveying firms. Everybody's going to have left, some work that they can't get to. Prime example is that phone call I just said earlier. He knows knows me through Mentoring Mondays and that kind of stuff, and he knows he can't do the job. And we want, and I think I talk about it here in a little bit, but we have an industry to serve, and so we have to have a Rolodex of surveyors. You can't just not answer the phone. Two, and not help at least the client from a profession standpoint and a professional standpoint. And so we always say, hey, our price is X. Oh, we can't do it for that. Well, here's 3 other people. Maybe they're a little more cost effective, and there's ways to approach that, right? And like, oh, they're going to be cheaper. That's not the words we want to use. You want to say maybe maybe they can do it more reasonable, and their timeframes are better. So we're big on educating the client, and then also providing information if we can't do the job to make sure that we get it done. Come up with your mission statement, whatever that may be, and then your vision moving forward as well. So company description, we're set up as an LLC, but as I put a disclaimer in there, talk to your tax advisor before you set up any business. Find out what works best for you. Come up with your founders, location. Obviously, we're in the center of the country, so we have lots of work. We can spread out our wings. Unique selling, and kind of highlight what sets you apart. Market analysis. So again, start to pull down some of those Census Bureau data and local, contractor reports that come out of your AGCs and that kind of stuff, and find the reports. I get construction reports from our universities as well. You can sorry, George threw in there, divide up your areas of your business. Primary business was construction staking. We're a survey only firm, which is what Diamondback is, and as well. And we do, so we're broken up as well. To George's point, while he puts it in there, we do about 20% construction. We do about 20% boundary topos. We do about 20% ALTAs. And another like 10-12% mapping for land development type stuff. Not so much residential housing mapping, but more so parcel maps and things for commercial development as well. So I talk about that a little bit here, George, coming up. It's just being diverse and making sure that you have a diverse portfolio. So Nick says he did an LLC filing as an S Corp. That's what we are as well. We haven't had any issues with that. And we've been an S Corp since like right after we did it. 2009, I think, is when we did our S Corp. So we haven't had any issues. Target market as well. Competitive analysis, again, kind of going through who your competition is within your area. Figure out your services, drones, 3D scannings, that kind of stuff. And then everything I do is always based on the SWOT analysis. So write down the strengths that include advanced technology, experienced founders, right? Weaknesses might be the new brand recognition as a new firm, but opportunities expanding in the real estate construction markets, and threats will come from the established competitors. So kind of do your own SWOT analysis and run through those items that help lay the foundation. Organization management. This is another page within it. Staffing needs. make sure you go through all of these when you're doing a business plan. And I'll put Kyle on the spot just because I think he's probably the most recent that started a business. Did you do all of this, Kyle, when you started your business?
Yes, I didn't. I started an LLC before I advised with a CPA, but
Yeah,
most of it I did do. Whether or not that ended up being how things went,
right.
that's a different story.
Yeah. That's a great point. Like these are really they're working documents too, and you want to kind of go back and revisit your business plans as you do this stuff, and you'll notice, every couple of years things are going to change. And to your point, like that probably wasn't ended up, the phone started ringing, right? And you just started going down this path where the clients were calling from. So, um, Tony, no battle plan, survives his first contract. I'd love it. Go through the marketing as well. So, you guys hear me talk about it all the time from a marketing standpoint, and just do your research, sales strategy, building those relationships. That's what I talk about this week. And then in Oregon will be networking presentation, and I'll do it here on mentoring as well, about the importance of networking. But that sales strategies, building those relationships, is really important. So the pricing structure, we will not talk about pricing whatsoever, other than make sure you are competitive for your area. We will not discuss pricing modules whatsoever. Financial plan. So again, going through detailed cost, breaking things down. I do have another one pager here at the back end, but make sure you kind of write down all the costs that you're going to be associated with it. Also factor in the cost for initial marketing, website design, those kind of things, right? Unless you can do them yourselves. Revenue projections, provide just some realistic stuff of what you can do. I can think of when I first bought all my equipment, and I bought my equipment and vehicles and everything, basically before I had given notice, while I still had a job and had an income, which is somewhat could be important if you don't have all of that money on the side. Um, and I can remember when I first started in '08, I'm like, oh, I only need $5,000 a month. I can do that. Not so much. It's not as easy as you think. Hold on, Mr. Wings. We got another business owner. Mr. Wings is going to join us. We're going to put him on the spot too. I love this. Um, but yeah, you think now I jokingly, now I need $500,000 a month. So it's amazing what this thing has morphed into. So again, so going back to that revenue projections and making sure that you put some, relative numbers that you feel like you could actually do. So, $5,000 the first month, whatever it may be, $50,000 in the first 6 months, that kind of stuff. So put some relative numbers down. Funding, again, finding those finding your funding source is going to be important. This for me, it was 2008, and I leveraged every credit card and everything I had to start what I have. So I was in different times back then, but potential funding sources as well. Find those savings accounts, bank loans, that kind of stuff, right? So understand the terms and implications of each funding source, interest rates, that kind of stuff. I'm going to follow what was in the chat. Interesting. Oh, FYI, California does not allow LLCs for surveying businesses, corps, LLPs, or sole proprietors only. What was the kind of the backstory on that, Kyle? Oh, that was different Kyle. You got a chance to unmute there, Kyle, on the LLC information?
Yeah, hey Trent, this is
Yeah.
Kyle here. I
Thanks.
can't specify why they did that,
Yeah.
but when I was filing my organization of record form, that was not an option, and I reached out to the board, and they said that's not allowed
Oh,
as a
interesting.
professional surveyor.
Oh, interesting. Gotcha. Well, now we know. We'll have to dig into that one. Oh, there we go. There's my you're gonna go months without a paycheck. So that goes in with your funding sources and that kind of stuff. So going back to there, make sure you build up your nest egg. And I have an engineering friend that is 2 days away from starting his own business, and he's got his nest egg stashed and ready to go. But so that'll be fun to kind of help mentor him along the way. But licenses, make sure that we have, I don't know, a stack of business licenses everywhere we belong. I had somebody reach out and says, "Hey, we have a couple expired licenses. Can you send me all your stuff?" I think I sent them like 35 business licenses all stacked together in one big PDF. And so make sure you're doing things correctly. You have your business licenses in different jurisdictions, and sometimes, we're doing some construction stuff in new market areas, and we have multiple jurisdictions even here in Las Vegas, and we have licenses in every one of those. General liability, E&O insurance, those are some of your big expenses as well. So making sure you get all those information, get all those costs up front so that you can put all that stuff in there. References, again, adding all that reference data in there, all that research you did, and then kind of a conclusion. So I did in this PowerPoint is a quick little one page that I put together that you guys can kind of just go in and mess with. I won't go over all of the stuff because we just went through it all, but you're more than welcome to steal that little one page business plan to get started with. I put our financial plan as startup costs around 200,000, but that's because we like the best equipment, so it's expensive to buy. What would you put you on the spot, Kyle, Brooke, about your startup cost? Roughly, you can give a big number, or a ranging number, but what was your startup cost?
For solo operator,
Yeah.
I probably would put it around 50, probably a little less actually. I had bought a old, Trimble S3 that's still my workhorse.
Yeah.
I bought that 3 years. That was kind of an investment I made when I knew I wanted to start a business someday. Sat in a closet while I worked for other companies, and then had to get a Basin Rover, and I'm very happy with my Carlson BRX7 because it costs about half as much as the R12.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Right. There's some of the research. It's funny you bring that up. So when I first started, I've been a Trimble guy since I got into survey 1995, so 30 years ago. And before I did buy my equipment, I did go try the other green box stuff, and I messed around with the data collector for 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes in the office with those guys, and I just couldn't even get to a point where I couldn't even start the job. And so I was just so familiar with Trimble, and it's what you're familiar with and what you know how to use. So that's a big one as well. But following up, my startup costs $300. You had $300 to start, Nick? I love it. You guys are all throwing in there some 80 grands. Cool. I like that. Not the only way, but it's possible. All right. Renting equipment. Yeah, exactly. Renting equipment, using your personal vehicle. You start to get into a little bit of messy business stuff, which we probably won't go down that path when you start to do some of that. You could get into some messy insurance stuff when your vehicle's being used for business and personal stuff. So I'm not an advisor on any of that kind of stuff, so I won't go down those rabbit holes. But good information in there. So 80 grand. Kyle was around 50-ish. I was 08, and so I bought the base, the Rover, the gun, the total station, all that kind of stuff, and the vehicles. And so I was probably, even back in those days, I was probably in that same, probably 75, 90,000 probably by the time I was all said and done. So under 3K in 1991. Ah, nice job, Carl. Love it. All right. Thoughts or questions on some of that stuff? 10,000. There you go. And that's a big difference too, right? Will. So Will threw in there $10,000, but he's the, TSC3s, right? You can pick up TSC3 data collectors for $1,500. You can pick up some R8s and, for $3,000-4,000. So you can, in theory, definitely get going pretty early. So
I'm curious, why not develop a business plan that includes paying yourself as part of your business?
Mm-hmm. If you have the funds to do that. Yeah, I would totally agree. I agree with that, Heather. And I think we kind of talk about that in the beginning. On there, some of the financial stuff would be equipments, payrolls, rents, office rents. All of that stuff definitely builds into your business plan as one big monthly nut, right? So,
Mhm.
yep. But it's, you know, you never, as you know, or maybe some know, as you start a business, you don't get to collect on some of those monies, you know, depending on what market you get into. If you get in the construction market and that's your, you know, your area of expertise, you're not getting construction money for 60 to 75 days sometimes. It's not like you're being able to collect right off the when you deliver a survey. So different business models I think require different cash flows as well. So good point though, Heather.
One more question for
Yeah, go
you,
for it, Glenn.
Trent. And that's business licenses.
Yep.
I've run into a situation where each individual county where you do a survey and want to file a plat in that county says, well, you've got to have a business license in this county in order to file this plat. Is that something that is prevalent elsewhere in the country?
We have only run into that in all of our areas that we work. I think twice is all about not having a business license in order to be able to file a map. So it is at least in our kind of our western states, it's not too. We haven't ran into it too much. I don't know if anybody else wants to kind of chime in for Glenn there. I know. How about you? Yeah, there you go. Tony says never. How about you, Will? You got a kind of few different survey areas as well. Any issues? Business licenses for counties to record? While we're following that. Yeah, negative. Nope. So, Glenn, is that a New Mexico thing?
I guess it's just unique to New Mexico. They're trying to save up to buy a plat cabinet, probably.
Right. They need your they need your $200. That's awesome. George, go for it.
Well, I'm probably muted.
No, you're good. Nope. Now you're muted. Now you're not.
Okay. In Nevada, I think, uh, and I may be wrong because I'm a surveyor, not a lawyer,
Yeah.
but I think Nevada state law trumps county ordinances. And if the state law requires you to file a record of survey, the county has no choice but to accept it.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Good point, George. Good point. Um, Glenn, some areas in Washington require that. Madison says in there. And Shannon threw in some gold. Cash flow is why it's important to somewhat spread out on different types of jobs from altas to boundaries to topos to construction because they all pay on different terms. So that's great information when it comes to cash flow. Um, let's see. There we go. Marketing. So marketing analysis, business development, that kind of stuff. What services you're going to provide. Again, not going outside your expertise. That's a big one. Just a professional ethics, you know, on that aspect of it. Boundary surveys only, topographics for engineering design, ALTAs, construction staking, 3D scannings, drones. Identify those targets within those service markets as well. Now that you've defined your services, you can identify the clients, and so coming up with that list of who to market, then identifying your target clients, research all the civil engineers if you're doing engineering design, that kind of stuff. We've sent out mass emails as well, kind of done research on kind of the West Coast about engineers who don't have surveyors on board. And so doing some of that research and then basically start doing cold calling and cold emails as well. Title companies, although title companies don't hire us, but they do recommend a list to clients, ones that they enjoy working with. So it's important to market to your title companies as well when it comes to those ALTAs. Those are important. Research contractors if construction's up your area. And I'm just going to try to follow along on the chat. I've got a couple. Let's see. Kyle, I manually do residential. Implemented a policy of 50%. So you're doing residential boundary surveys. We started doing that on a lot of our one-time clients that we're just doing record of surveys on. We started doing 50% retainers up front as well, and we do credit cards as well. Kyle Brook, it helps get paid a lot faster. So that does help. And, you know, a lot of people they want to play the points game. And so we can play the credit card game to get paid faster and they can play their points game. So that's also important. Tony says smartest thing I ever did was require 100%. Yeah. Prepayment. You were in a different business model there, Mr. Nettleman. I love that. He does lots of expert witness stuff, so he gets a little bit different clientele than we get to deal with. Need to know, yeah, George, great topic. Need to explain more in depth. I know many great surveyors in my career and only a few good businessmen. So good point, George. Nick, now is the first time I have had cash flow issues. Made a change from being top heavy on field skills and only having a few people draining my cash. But once these guys are trained up, much more flexible. Yeah, good point there too, Nick. Trying to, and I get into a little bit here, and I won't go into the whole. Shannon says 50% retainers as well. I won't go into the whole training the staff, but we've got a whole document that we're putting out on behalf of NSPS Workforce Development Committee as well. So I will. Setting the business goals again. When you're working on all of this, putting your business plan together, the structure, that kind of stuff. So short-term goals, increase. So let's work on just the 1 to 2 year plans. Write down goals about how many clients you want to acquire in that area. Make it sure, again, using kind of the SMART goal method. So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Measurable would be tracking the number of new clients. Enhanced marketing efforts would be achievable. Going through industry events, that kind of stuff. And then relevant would be more clients, means increased revenue and market presence. And then time bound, just write down your goal of when you want to achieve some of these, right? 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever the case may be. Improve survey turnaround times. That's a big one. A lot of times, you know, we're getting these phone calls. Our average is 15 to 18, and then usually around the summertime, we'll go 18 to 20 as delivery time. So sometimes it hinders us from getting work as well because people are calling at the last second. But so improving turnaround times, reduce your project time. We'll help work on that. Monitor project timelines with project management software. We'll get into a little bit of that. Invest in more efficient equipment. It goes back to, starting on early on in the business with some older equipment. Now you've got a little bit of cash flow. You can start to invest in some better equipment. Will help offset the efficiency of the survey turnaround times. And then relevant, faster turnaround improves customer experience, increases capacity for more projects. It's a really important one as well. And then time bound, again, just kind of write down your goals of when you want to do that. Enhance professional skills, a team with complete advanced training, some type of training, CST, Autodesk. I'll provide that document in the Dropbox as well later tonight. I'll show you a screenshot of it here in a minute, but those are important, and having a trained staff, kind of to Nick's point too, but having a trained staff allows for diversification as well. And we talk about that in our meetings here. Just having that ability to bring on more skill sets allows you to have a lot more diverse business model as well. So all surveying staff to receive certifications of some sort. We push, with the younger staff, we obviously push a lot of the CST stuff or any kind of Autodesk trainings, those kind of things. We definitely try to push. Enroll the team in certified courses. You'll see the guidebook, which I'll throw in the Dropbox. Advanced skills, keep the company competitive and efficient. Kind of what we talked about there. And then in goals, once you bring on your staff, would be in the next year. So this is a screenshot of but just got finished up through NSPS Workforce Development Committee. And we're rolling it out basically this month. So we'll start to talk about it quite a bit. But it's basically has a lot of highlights of different programs, how to mentor your staff, how to mentoring programs within it, and what resources are available online to either do your CST exams, your FS exams, those kind of things, different certifications, GIS, ESRIs, Carlson type stuff. So this guide is, I think it's turned out to be 45 or 46 pages long. So it's pretty detailed, but I'll share that with you guys as well. And then work on your long-term goals. Expand your geographic areas if that's the case. Extend services to one or two additional states, or in depending on, parts of the country, one or two different counties. I know there's that kind of stuff. We're fortunate to be spread out the West, but establish operations and client base with those new locations. Research market potential, compliance, and set up regional offices as you start to kind of grow and scale. Depends on how big you want to be, but I mean, we talked about it at the beginning, right? 6,000 of the 7,000 firms have less than 9 employees, so there's probably not too many people setting up regional offices when it comes to that. But expansion increases market share and diversifies clients, which is huge. And again, kind of when is that time bound? Achieve it within first 5 years of business, whatever the case may be, however extreme your goals are. I will say, I know when I first started my business, it was my main goal was I figured 5 LSs, and we kind of rotate in and out and doing office work and field work, so we all never really got burnt out, and that never happened. So those were one of my goals in the beginning, and that never even come close to it. So again, kind of implementing some long-term goals. Implement the cutting edge technology, right? So we talk about this in that 3 to 5 year goal. You've bought some of the cheaper equipment to older equipment to get going, and so now it's time to start to replace some of that, incorporate some of the latest technologies, complete at least 30% of your projects using new technologies. That's a big thing, with firms, and is slow to adapt. And so you buy the fancy piece of equipment, but you don't want to take the time to learn to use it, and so it kind of gets stuck in the corner, and nobody ends up using it and becomes pretty much a paperweight. So it's important that you force yourself to use that new equipment, which is so that you can get trained on it and get going. Invest in equipment and training, obviously huge, relevant, staying ahead of the technology, and ensures high quality service and a competitive advantage. And then that's time bound, right? So when's that goal? We're within the first 3 years or so. So work on those. Build a strong brand and a reputation. These are important. Become a recognized leader in the region. Achieve top rankings the best you can within kind of the industry. Make sure that the only way businesses grow is basically through word of mouth and trusted people that you enjoy working with throughout your relationships that you've built. So delivering consistently high quality service, engage in community events, kind of what we talk about. We do a lot of branding with local community things to help support different events. Helps maintain those excellent client relationships, and a strong brand. Good Lord, a strong brand attracts more clients and employees, right? So it's important to have that. So in the same thing, what's that time bound look like? And using those kind of SMART goals. Good stuff. Thoughts on that kind of stuff? I was going to try to catch up with the chat over here. We as a profession need to work on mobility issues for sure. NCES PLS module is in development, and is a good step in the right direction. And I've kind of talked about that from a business thing. So many years ago, a lot of business was regional. And now it's, maybe Las Vegas based or kind of desert Southwest stuff. But now even a lot of our client base is based really out of the East Coast. And so your clients are no longer just in your metro area. They're calling you from New York, Florida, or wherever the case may be. So and they end up getting portfolios of work, right? And so they want you to be able to handle a fair amount of their particular projects. And so you get these national clients that will send you to Arizona or California, Colorado, wherever the case may be. And so to Glenn's point, the mobility I think is what's changing a lot when it comes to the surveying business. I would say if we were to be just a Las Vegas based business, we wouldn't be nearly as the size that we are. So let's see what else was in here. Nick's still taking some deposits. Yeah, George, I found that my staff did better when I wasn't around. I always encourage them to be creative and come with me with questions and problems, and needed to bring 2 or 3 ideas to solve the problems. Yeah, I like that, George. We've talked about that one quite a few times. Develop my confidence in them and their confidence in themselves. So, great point, to get them to try to resolve it themselves before they come to you. And then if they still have issues, like you said, this is come up with the solutions on how would they fix those issues. So good point, George. Let's see. Oh, clicking on too many things. Building a brand. So obviously this is my passion. Let's see, George. Mobility can be tough due to knowledge and local expertise and local practice. Yeah, to some degree, I would say, George. It's getting there, but and I think now with so much stuff being online, you can do all of that information. You can, with GIS being built, and we can start doing a lot more research and pull up a lot more records. So I'd say that the newer business model, when it comes to that, you can pull out a lot of information through, we can do all our record researches online and that kind of stuff. So, let's see, Nick, I will admit that I am no longer a 6x multiplier. I love that. Kyle, once you start your own business and you're your own boss, yeah, your own boss will piss off your current boss daily. Yeah, good point. Yep. You get internal battles fighting with yourself, right? So, building a brand, we'll go through a little bit of this and I'll kind of talk about the things that we do. Um, it creates that community aspect of it. Community partner within your area. It helps you work professional communications as well when you're having to talk with different people. And so it's important to work on your brand. Obviously, everybody knows my logo and my Get Kid stuff, but in essence, the branding is the promise you make to your clients. It tells them that you can what they can expect from your services and differentiate you from offering from your competitors. Your brand is built through every interaction clients have with your business, from initial contact to the quality of the survey to the final report and the ongoing support. It reinforced by the professionalism of your team and the effectiveness of the process and the clarity of your communication. So, working on those soft skills in the profession like land surveying, we can trust that accuracy is our paramount, and a strong brand can be a significant asset. It can build a loyal client base and generate positive word of mouth referrals and establish a business as a business leader in the field. And so building a brand, and I talk about it a lot. I try to promote the profession as a whole. Any advertising I do is specifically about land surveying in general. And we're just trying to promote the profession. Again, going back to having that Rolodex of all people. Yeah, my last line. Above all, it can help lift the whole profession. So I missed my next line. That's my number one goal. One of my main reasons for, and I talk about it a few times, but one of my main reasons for starting my business was to be able to kind of work all over the West, which I've been able to do, and promote the profession through marketing, because it had never been done from a marketing aspect of it. So I'm big on marketing when it comes to that. So effective marketing strategies, develop a strong online presence, websites, that kind of stuff. You can do them fairly easy. You can, GoDaddy's got a lot of stuff. You can kind of build your own WordPress. You don't necessarily have to hire somebody. You can work on kind of building your own professional website as well. Social media, we utilize a lot of that. I didn't hear what's up with the TikTok stuff, but I don't know what I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but the TikTok is great for video content, LinkedIn profiles, Instagrams, that kind of stuff. Showcase your work, industry news, engage, that kind of stuff. Content marketing, writing articles, that kind of stuff is important. Videos, webinars. That is not how or why I created any of this stuff, but It is it's important that you can do that. We do a little more so than the webinars and that kind of stuff. We do lunch and learns, and we do lunch and learns a lot with title companies, so that we can go in. We talk about ALTAs and that kind of stuff. Bring them lunch, bring in the sandwiches and that kind of stuff, and do a whole lunch and learn. I think that's a lot more powerful than video and webinars, and I probably should actually swap that out. Rather than doing that kind of stuff. But lunch and learns are good to take your stuff and get that face-to-face interaction. So same thing, search engine, email marketing. We don't do it a lot on our business side. But email marketing, once you start to build that data list, try to do some updates, that kind of stuff are as important as well. But networking partnerships, that's where we really do a lot of our heavy lifting, is industry events, conferences, any kind of local community type stuff, build the partnerships and with related businesses, again, real estate firms, construction firms, architects, engineers, that kind of stuff. Information that you can leave behind. Anything you can do for that kind of stuff is important. Building your network. Client referrals, this is the big one, right? I said earlier, a lot of businesses grown through word of mouth. Encourage satisfied clients and I think Nick grew a lot of his business through these referrals and online Yelp reviews and that kind of stuff. Yep. So those are important. Highlight the client testimonials are always good. Local advertising when it comes to that. So going with the community boards, sponsor local events. We're big on youth sports teams. That's our other big one that we do. Any kind of youth little leagues. It promotes how many kids, they go play and then they walk through the grocery stores and different box stores wearing your logo on their jersey and stuff like that. So it's supporting your brand and shows that you're a community partner. Develop a strong identity with your logo, company colors, constant message across all marketing materials. That's super important. Use of technology. When it comes to that kind of stuff, we'll go into a few things here later that you can help do that kind of stuff from a social media standpoint. And I did the direct mailing early on in our stuff. I put together a whole book that was probably, I don't know, 60 or 70 pages and mailed it out to every civil engineer and architect early on in our business. And I don't know, that thing probably cost me $3,000 or $4,000 to do it back then, but it was a lot of fun to put it together. And so you can do that kind of stuff. Obviously, social media has come a long ways when it comes to that stuff, but community outreach, you guys have heard me talk about a lot this, but anything we can do from a logo and branding support when it comes to promoting the land surveying word or geospatial or whatever you guys may be. We sponsor the home run, so we tie in land surveying and home run and distance measurement to our little league sporting event. Lots of crazy NASCAR, anything logo branding. This is we sponsor our local Metro K9. They have a K9 trials, and so we had bought in all of their agility equipment, and by doing that, we were fortunate enough to put the logos on there. So this is we donated all that stuff and been able to support their K9 trials, and so again, more community support that you can do when it comes to that stuff. Again, lots of golf tournaments, Shriners, any kind of charity related golf tournament. Certainly sponsor, get your name, your logos out there. This was our local PGA event. We're always been a huge supporter of them out all of these years. And so sponsoring all that. And then anything you can do from a pro bono standpoint as well. So we do lots of we do everything for the Girl Scouts here in Las Vegas. Any kind of pro bono work you can do will help support that goodwill for the profession as well. Same thing, the super build with Habitat for Humanity type stuff. Anything you can do to donate your services when it comes to that stuff. So it's really important. These get into a couple of the kind of the effective things that you can use. We use Canva. So anything you come see from Diamondback mentoring, all these different programs, everything we use is through a Canva account, and it's easy to create flyers and content. So super simple to upload your graphics and build lots of different flyers. So it's important to have those social media engagements when it comes to that stuff. We do lots of, obviously you see lots of holidays. Tyler's already our marketing guy. It's my nephew. He graduated with a marketing degree. So we hired my nephew and he's already working on Valentine's posts, flyers and stuff like that. So these make it super easy to kind of put your stuff together. So this one's and I've talked about it. I don't do any kind of goodness, where's the sports stuff? Fantasy footballs and baseballs and all those different things. I don't do that stuff. But this Hootsuite is kind of what I jokingly say. It's like setting your lineup for your fantasy league. You can spend the weekend, spend a Saturday or Sunday, a couple hours putting your flyers together, and then with this Hootsuite software, you can schedule all of your social media stuff. So on Sunday, and you want to post 3 times that week, you've created that content, and through Hootsuite, you can say schedule this for Monday at 8 a.m. and Wednesday at 8 a.m. and Friday at 8 a.m. So you don't have to sit there and do that stuff and work on that every single day. So it's important to use these type of things, especially when you're small and trying to do a lot of things. So these are just kind of some of the Hootsuites, but you can tie all of your accounts, your Instagrams, your Facebooks, LinkedIn's, all of that kind of stuff goes under one, and you just post the same thing on each message on each social media. So there's that screenshot where you can tie every single thing together. You just click on which softwares you want to, or which social medias you want to do. There you go, bottom right corner, post now, schedule for later. All of those resources make it nice. Maybe you want to learn a lot more when it comes to marketing. Obviously Elaine's got her not only the Get Kids stuff, but she's got the Geospatial Marketing Academy as well. That's a lot of fun to go through her program, 10-week long program. So you can definitely reach out to find all Elaine's information on there as well on her website. But let's see. I was going to catch up on the chat here really quick. Let's see. Will's real question everybody wants answered: how do you get started on your own business without pissing off your current boss? Oh yeah, there you go. Refer to number one. Let's see, Jerry, I'm going to fantasize about something. It's not going to be football. That's awesome. Good Lord. All right, I caught up on the chat. So thoughts when it comes to branding and marketing. I know this one's usually like an hour and a half long, so I'm kind of speeding through a little bit of it, but we still have about 15-20 minutes. So thoughts or questions on marketing strategies, or what's people doing, or what they're doing different? Brooke, he's out there creating exams and creating his social media through a lot of that stuff. But I know Stuart Ward's not on here, but he does Elaine's geospatial marketing, and you'll see a lot of Stuart Ward stuff is about educating the client through his social media channels as well. So he's based out of Idaho. Any luck utilizing AI for marketing? I have not. I'm fortunate I have my nephew, so I don't. I let him handle a lot of that stuff. Anyone have positive experience with B2B marketing for residential surveying? Is that more so, Nick, are you talking like realtor aspect of it, reaching out to realtors, going after those boundary surveys, or oh, you're going B2C, but yeah, B2C landowners. Yeah, got it. Not so much me. If you guys want to throw in there, we'll keep flying through. Again, like we talked about, I have a whole networking thing that I'm going to do in Oregon this week, but networking is extremely, all right. See you, Glenn. We'll chat more. Network is important, not just, from your own business aspect of it, but just the profession as a whole. And so, it's important that we network the best we can. Building a network and forging partnerships, opens the door for new business opportunities. Networking, just creating those relationships, with industry professionals in whether it's the engineering world, the architect world, whatever the case may be, and having those referrals, use that word of mouth to help definitely build your business, provides valuable insight. So when you're networking, you're staying involved with industry trends, you're staying involved with some of the best practices by going to a lot of these different conferences Trimble Dimensions, that kind of stuff. Yeah, don't forget title companies. Um, you gotta hit the title companies, that's for sure, George. And working on those, joining the professional organizations, really important to get involved. Even if you're not a huge public speaker, which I just started as a moderator for a session. That's kind of how I broke ice for me, getting involved with doing some public speaking and just being a moderator. And I can remember being super nervous just doing that stuff, but work your way into it, baby steps into any kind of networking and conversations and public speaking and that kind of stuff. So leveraging the social media, we've gone for networking, interacting with different forums, the LinkedIn conversations, that kind of stuff is super important. Acquiring new clients, again, going back, identifying your market, understanding who your clients are, develop that strong online presence, network and build partnerships, super important. Going to these events, joining the professionals, AGCs, NSPEs. We have kind of a commercial development here, NAOP, as well. Those are important to go to those breakfast meetings. Again, offer competitive pricing, and that's all we'll talk about. Number 4, ask for referrals as well. Encourage satisfied clients. Word of mouth, most powerful tool in the land surveying industry for sure. Retaining, that's the biggest one. Constantly provide high quality, accurate, and timely services. Excellence in your work is the best strategy for client relationships and client retentions. Maintain communications, keep informed throughout the process. And I think that's kind of where, and if you talk to the licensing boards, they say this is the biggest thing that would keep most board complaints to a minimum, and that's just communicating with the client and giving them, up to date expectations of when things might be delivered, that kind of stuff. And so, maintaining the client reputation or communications is key. Again, ask for feedback, shows that you value their opinion, committed to the continuous improvement process, build personal relationships. And I do have one friend who's a really, really good friend now. He started as a client, and we just built relationships through mutual interest that we had, and now he's a better friend than he is a client. So it's you can always create friendships through your networking aspect of it. Stay up to date with technology. This is a big one for retaining clients. As your clients continue to grow, whatever business they are in, they're going to build their clientele, which is going to probably involve you using some new equipment and new processes that you've never done. So it's important to stay up to industry trends. That's a big one for, I think, just surveyors in general. We've always been slow to adapt, and so I think as we're getting through some of the seasoned surveyors as they start to retire, and we get the younger generation coming in as the new business owners, we're definitely picking up on the latest technology. So periodically check in with past clients. That's a big one. Just seeing how they're doing, and we do a lot of mailing stuff as well, goodies, and we don't do our goodies at Thanksgiving or Christmas. We always do ours at the New Year's. So that way, you're away from the 45 items that are sitting on the kitchen counter that come in at Thanksgiving or Christmas time. But you're the only one that's really doing much at New Year's, and so we always like to do our follow-ups and our goodie bags at the New Year. So that's a big difference to stand out. Yep, New Year's a good idea. Exactly. I know a lot of people used to do. It was like Thanksgiving was early, and so they weren't so much into the crowd at the Christmas crowd, so they started doing Thanksgiving. But now we do New Year's, and usually it's either some bundt cakes or cookies or something like that. And a lot of times you just get the angry people because they were trying to start their diet, and we already dropped off a bundt cake on January 2nd. So those are always those are fun. But remember, acquiring a new client is important, but retaining them is where the real value lies. Okay, let's see. Dropbox. Oh, okay. Bella, I will shoot me an email and then I can send you these PDFs. They're small enough that I think I can email them. So if you shoot me an email and I'll get it to you. There you go. Perfect. Dustin should break them out for February 23rd. That's exactly. Contracts. So this is a big one and not a lot of states, not all states require contracts, but here in Nevada, we do require contracts. California requires contracts to be in place before you begin work. But contracts are really important. So clear to define the scope, right? This goes back to communications and expectations of your clients. Working through a clear scope of work provides that legal protection for both sides. The best legal opinion is you can have when attorneys start to fight. But at least if you put in there for your project scope of work and payment terms, that's and some timelines for deliverables and that kind of stuff. Those three would at least offset a lot of the contract stuff when it comes to it. Payment terms, which we talk about, right? Cash flow issues all the time when it comes to a business. So payment terms, 50% retainers, or paid when complete, that kind of stuff. So list the payment terms and what people can expect. Surveying contracts often include clauses related to liability insurance, which Tony's given presentations on this kind of stuff as well on Mentoring Mondays, and the risk management's behind a lot of that. So these clauses help protect kind of both sides, which is important. But clients as a whole are contracts in whole are very important. And then of course professionalism, a well drafted contract to clients demonstrates professionalism, which is what we're trying to do. Yep. I think we had Lucas do one as well on mentoring. So do you think it's a good idea for survey curriculum to heck yeah. Jerry's question in the chat. Do you think it's a good idea for survey curriculum to have a business oriented class? Yes. And I think it's got to be a couple of classes. We've talked about my daughter. She's going to both OIT and then she just graduated with Great Basin College, but this last month in December, she just got her business management associates in business management. So she finds the importance of it as well, like I do, which I mean, she's obviously, I get to lean on her ear. So she's going after those business classes and stuff as well. But thoughts on any of that kind of stuff? We got like 20 more slides. Got 5:13. So does NCs have a business book that is a reference that can be tested on? That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe Tony, do you know, is there any business books that NCs relates? Because there's getting to be quite a few business questions on
Not that
NCs.
I'm aware of. I don't
Yeah.
see any business books referenced.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I didn't think so.
Their exam got ahead of their reference list.
Yeah, exactly. Nick has a good question. How do college professors won't offer to have that experience? And I think that goes back to, and maybe it's set aside, right? So we just using business industry professionals to come in and give presentations, even if it's that, when it comes to curriculum within the college programs, they will have a business class as part of their core curriculum, but I don't know. I mean, we lean on industry, right? To kind of come in and do some of this stuff. So somehow, some way, adjunct professor who's a professional private surveyor. Yeah, exactly. That's it. I know Mitch, right? Mitch Duray, he did a lot for OIT, and he would come in and do some presentations for OIT as well. But we will keep going. So we talked about the project management software. So there's multiples. Everybody kind of knows we're behind Q Factor. I've got involved with them early on in their business startup, and so we've been with them coming up on 7 years already. So I just kind of test drove all of these other ones, but we're Q Factor driven. But there's their websites, but they've all presented on Mentoring Mondays, all provided demos as well. So Q Factor's in a couple. We had Cyanic Automation, Compass. Compass is probably one of my favorite ones. He's got a pretty powerful program. Definitely check that out if you're a financial guy in numbers and deep into that stuff. Compass is heavy into that. All of these have some great resources in them, but any of them are great. We just been so involved with Fred and Q Factor. So I do know, I think Compass only uses QuickBooks Online. So some of these only use QuickBooks Online versus QuickBooks Desktop, which I'm a desktop person, not the online. So some of that you'll have to work with before you sign up with any of these. Kind of talk about what payroll software and invoice system you're using. So just a couple of real quick screenshots of Q Factor, which you guys have probably seen quite a bit through mentoring. But my selling point was the pin drop of where all of these projects could be within. That's what I was looking to create even early on in our business, was doing Google Earth pins everywhere. You can do that simply with just inputting the address of your project and your project number when it comes to that kind of stuff. So that was my number one selling point when it came to getting a software program. But you can go through, they'll do the financials, the profitabilities, a lot of this. You just kind of upload some of the information in the beginning, create your tasks and your dollar figures and proposal numbers and that kind of stuff, and run through all of this. You can assign tasks that they can't move on until they've checked all of the boxes in the field work. So it provides that kind of extra assurance of making sure the field work is done. Same thing on the project assignment side of it, the research, that kind of stuff, the calcs, all that have to be done, and they have to, before it can go to the field, that all of these checkboxes need to be done. So the task lists are pretty cool when it comes into that. You can add as many versions and different things you need to do that stuff. So and this is where I guess we can kind of get into a couple of different conversations of industry softwares. We're an AutoCAD based. I went to college for AutoCAD in 1995 on DOS 10 version. So I'm an AutoCAD guy. I get stuck and started on one thing and I don't deviate from that too much. But Kyle's using some Carlson hardware, but are you using Carlson software as well? Are you using CAD, Kyle?
I use Carlson for pretty much everything
Yeah.
because I don't want to pay that monthly fee for civil.
Yeah.
And it's great. I love it.
Yeah, no, I know a lot. Like you said, it seems to be the more norm for most boundary related, and like even Nick said, boundary surveyor here, he uses Carlson. So Carlson, but I would say their market share is growing significantly, and it's cool to see. But we're a Trimble as well, so we talk about that. Pix4D has been kind of our drone processing. I'm sure we could have 20-minute conversation just on drone processing. We're Dropbox and Google Earth and Google Drive for sharing a lot of that stuff. Great customer service from Carlson, absolutely. That I know. Communication, Teams or Zooms, that kind of stuff, right? Those a lot of these are what we use on our business side. So that's what I kind of run through on this. T-Sheets is the other one for our time tracking software. I know that comes up quite a bit on some of the Facebook posts about what people are using for time tracking. So we use T-Sheets. Works for us scheduling wise. You can put in everybody's schedule, what's going on, where they're supposed to be that particular day, so they at least know what's going on. And it's been great for us. You guys can certainly look at other options, but marketing, we went through this, the MailChimps, Constant Contacts, those both are great. Hootsuite is the one that we use, the Canva for designing all your marketing materials. Human resources, we do it ourselves, my wife and I. We do our own payroll, we do all of that kind of stuff. Document management, again, Adobe. I think Shannon and Nolan, you guys use the DocuSign, don't you? Anybody else using DocuSign for signed contracts? Or are you still sending out like just PDFs and people having to sign them? That's what we're doing. I wanted to start to go down the DocuSign path so that we got all that stuff back, but I haven't got it done. That was my goal for January, but I haven't got it ready yet. So
we use DocuSign still.
yeah.
it honestly helps people return stuff faster.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, agreed. Cool. Thank you. Let's see. Jerry, you don't need an instructor with surveying background to teach fundamentals of business courses. A lot of what Trent is talking about is applicable to many businesses. While in school, you're not looking to make a student an expert in creating a business. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we're not creating them an expert in surveying either, right? So good point there, Jerry. So just basics, business plans, that kind of stuff. Yep. Let's see. Rolling PDF via Bluebeam. Gotcha. Accept the estimate, pay the deposit through QuickBooks. Perfect. Um, QuickBooks as well. Is everybody using QuickBooks Online, or is there kind of a split when it comes to it also seems to be kind of the market share when it comes to accounting software, but just throw that out there. Yeah, online. 250 a month for payroll. Yeah, well, it's not super hard. It's the tax. Use your tax guy to do your software. But questions or thoughts on that kind of business management softwares? Any questions? You can start with Wave. Okay. Is the Wave for payroll?
You can, I go Gusto for payroll, but
Okay.
I mean, Wave is just significantly cheaper than QuickBooks.
Okay. Gotcha.
Hard part is finding a CPA who knows how to use Wave,
Gotcha.
which is why I am, as of this year, switching to QuickBooks. But
Okay.
I don't want to because they're owned by Intuit, and Intuit makes my taxes harder.
Yes. Got it. Understood. Tony threw in there Patriot payroll, a lot cheaper than T-Sheets. Perfect. Let's see what else. Teamwave. I think we're caught up on all that. Cool. Perfect. We're almost done. Almost got through. Oops. Did I? No, I think we're creating a culture. That's a big one for me, as you guys kind of know, just through lots of mentoring sessions. But creating that culture within the business, define your visions, core values, vision of what you want to see out of your company, what your and staff wants to, what you want to inspire your staff towards. Core values, determine key principles that will guide your business. So, integrity, that's a big one for me. I always the other one when we kind of talk about this would be from a business aspect of is just answer the phone when the phone rings, even if you know it might be a problem on the end, right? And so just not sending them to voicemail is I think is pretty important. So strong leadership, develop a leadership that goes with the values and the vision of the company is important. Hire the right people. This is a challenge as well. Look beyond their technical skills, and that's you guys heard me talk about this a lot too. But we hired based around work ethic, and so a lot of our guys early on when we were hiring inexperienced people worked for the tire shops, and so if you go to a tire shop, you watch how hard those guys work, and so it's important to hire on work ethic more so than like you say technical skills, and that's one I push a lot. Focus on the team building aspect of it, and that's going through regular meetings, problem solving sessions, team building activities. We do a lot of stuff through we have all kinds of stuff throughout the summer that are for all of our family events, and so we do night at the baseballs or night at Dave and Buster's and those kind of things, and get all of the families involved, and we're big on that aspect of it as well. So invest in training, and that's as you guys know, that's super important to me. So continuous learning, include professional development for different surveying techniques, all the different RCNs or Trimble dimensions or Esri users conferences, Topo.user conferences. All of these things can be used as professional developments, and it's an important to and create an open and communication environment. My door, everybody always says my door is always open, but literally my door is always open. And so I have a line of people that comes in and out all day long. And so it's important that people can know that they can walk in and talk to you. I had one tonight. He knows, obviously we buy a lot of vehicles through our business, and he wanted to trade in his vehicle. And so he just asked, some questions of, hey, I'm getting ready to trade in my vehicle. And so I'm, just go through a conversation. Have you done Kelly Blue Book? And yes, what's it worth? Okay. So how far upside down are you? Right. And we have these relationships with our dealership. And so I'm like, before you do anything, let me just help you with these guys so you don't, so they don't get screwed by going to somebody else. I have a finance guy, I have a sales guy, that kind of stuff, right? Those are the things that you want your staff to come to so that you can help them financially. And he's young. I think he's 20 years old or 21 years old. So um, those are the things that you want. Reward and recognition programs are great. Um, we always do 5 and 10 year plans, awards, that kind of stuff. We had one gentleman retire already. And so if you guys saw those rifles that were all engraved with all of the survey engravings and stuff on the raffles that are the rifles. That's what we gave to him as a retirement gift. So those are always fun. So promote work-life balance, and that's a big one for us. A couple of years ago, we went to every other Friday off, and that's important, and it's worked out well. We had a little bit of pushback maybe in the first 6 months, but we've now been doing it a couple of years, and so we're closed every other Friday, and that's important for that work-life balance aspect of it. So it's really good. Incorporate technology. Again, in the surveying technology, as fast as things are changing, we really got to stay ahead of all of this stuff. So continue to incorporate it. Community responsibility, doing the best you can, support local events, that kind of stuff. That's part of creating your culture. Regular reviews, and adapt any kind of changes you can go. Building a company culture is an ongoing process, of course. Consistent effort and commitment from everyone in the organization. Culture that you cultivate will ultimately define the brand and reputation of the land surveying profession. So important. Employee retention is another big one. And I'll provide that guide to you guys as well, but there's a whole kind of guide for building and retaining the survey profession as well. And that's that guide that I'll throw in there for you guys. Just need to make sure we get through all that. Got a couple more slides. Employees feel valued more than just their employment and their salary, right? That's a big one as well. This little paragraph right here. It goes beyond that with those work-life balances, having those days off. Working days is like if you only have 3 weeks of vacation, working days for them, we have like 209 working days. So part of that work-life balance goes long beyond the salaries. Employee retention, just the overall cost reduction, morale improvement, experienced employees, recruitment, right? You can just follow this circle all the way around. It's a great little graphic that I found. It's pretty cool. Survey and leadership, and that's just not from a religious standpoint, but just the well-being of employees. It's the way that I approach the surveying leadership aspect of it. I had somebody come up to me and was like, asked me if I was religious, which I'm not, but he's like, "Oh, this surveying leadership's huge in the church, and this, that, and the other." And so, it's I approach it as just being good. That's the treat one as you want to be treated, right? The golden rule. So, that's the big premise behind surveying leadership. But promotes employee growth, employee staff retention, goodwill. Are interested in sharing the power, right? That's big for me, and not hoarding it. When it comes to employees, that means that surveying leaders will empower employees have what they need to thrive at their job. That's an important one. I do have an article that I wrote for our local Traverse, Nevada Traverse, that's on surveying leadership. If you guys want to, there's the whole article section on Mentoring Mondays. So what do we have? Let's go. Oh, okay. This quick summary, since it's 5:29, detailed business plan, a good attorney. I was on a very expensive phone call earlier today with 3 high-profile attorneys, and that's going to be a pretty good bill, I'm sure, when I get it at the end of the month. A good accountant is very important. A good banking relationship, great. We have a great relationship with our bank, but getting those line of credits or some extended credits that you need from your bank is very important. So work on that. A good insurance for both general liability and E&O insurance. So if you get into heavy on construction, a lot of times your agent you got to turn those certificate of insurance certificates around pretty quick. And so if you got an agent that's not on top of it and you're waiting for a long time, that's keeping you from getting on a job site sometimes. So having a good relationship with your agents is important. Making sure all you have your business licenses, your firm registrations, reliable transportation, which we talked about, right? The best you can have, reliable surveying equipment. So last thing you want to do is call up a client and say, I'm not going to make it. My truck broke down or something. Accounting software, like Kyle Brooks said, he's having to switch because he's got an accountant that doesn't know how to use the particular software. So having some good accountant softwares and having that accountant up in the beginning, right? So that's starting those conversations early. Drafting software, go Toyota. Sorry, I just saw that come across. Data processing, be organized. This is a big one for me. Project numbers and project folders. Have a contract for everything. That's a big one, unless you got MSAs in place or something and you work off work order processes. But educate the client, talk them through what services they're going to need, and provide the clients with updates along every step of the way. Number 17 will probably keep you from having board complaints. So, and as if you guys don't have enough of my contact information already, there you go. And we got done at 5:31. Look at that. Let me end this. Stop sharing. And those that want that they said they can't get access to Dropbox, but shoot me an email and I'll shoot you these PDF files for you guys. No problem. I think they're all less than 25 megs, so we should be good to shoot all that stuff out. So, questions when it comes to that kind of stuff? I know we kind of ran through that fairly quick, but we didn't lose too many people. That's a good thing. But my old Dropbox. Yeah, well, if you get actually I did it so each individual week has its own Dropbox. But I can give you like access, Kyle. Here's you guys will have access to my whole files, which there's all kinds of shit in there, but I gotta find there's the Dropbox link that goes, and you'll get all the recordings. You're gonna have all the recording informations, all kinds of crazy stuff in there. So that's my gold box. But Will Ring for president. There we go. Will, you're in. He's going to be president of his Arizona Association in what, 26? Is Will still on there? Where'd he go?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
There he is.
Vice president.
Yeah, well, you're vice president, but are you guys 2-year terms or 1 year? So you're going to be chair when?
Well, I don't know.
That's assuming you step up. Okay, that's what that hesitation was.
Well, yeah. Because Jody just got in as president, and I said, I believe he has to do 2 years. So
I thought you guys are 2-year terms, so you got a couple of years, but
definitely
change your mind.
No, this is a great show. Thanks for putting all that information out there. I mean, most people don't get the inside look at all the software and all the different programs that a firm uses. So that's
right. Yeah.
Everyone that's watching just got a sneak peek. So I hope they're paying attention.
No, that's good. Thanks, Will. Love it.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Shannon, you got some last second wisdom remarks? Or are you cooking dinner? Oh no, you're not cooking dinner. It's 8:35. Poor Shannon.
Well, Trent,
what you got, George?
This is always a good use of my time, even though
I love it. Thank you.
I don't know how much of this I'll retain tomorrow at my age, but
I love it.
Well, a lot of good info in this, and hopefully we can continue to work on this, and hopefully we can get some of these younger people interested in this awesome technology we have nowadays, and get this profession staffed up again.
So with that, I am waiting to get it fact checked, but I found in an old, just sidebar conversation about refilling our coffers. I found an old Excel like bar graph of '02 and '03 data of FS and PS exams. And in '02, there was about close to 3,000 people taking the FS exam a year, and about 2,200 taking the PS exam a year. And we just this year, I got preliminary data for 24 from NCs, and we're at 1468 on the FS. So we're at half the numbers, and that's a climb because we were down in the 600s for a while. So we're starting to get back there. And then the PS numbers, there were 2,200 in like '02, and in 20, we'll say 2019, because I'll skip 2020, but 2019, I think it got down to close to 250. And we're now in 2024, there was 1,068. So we're a little less than 50% of the numbers. But yeah, I just found that bar graph the other day on an old presentation. So I was curious. I want to get that. I sent it to our contact at NCs to see if he could fact check that for me to make sure that that was there. He found some data. He's still trying to get it verified, but he found some data going back to '96, and so I'm curious to see what some of our numbers look like. But to your point, yeah, we've still has a long ways to go.
But you know, the profession, from my point of view, the profession's been good to me. I'm sure Jerry would agree.
Great for me.
It's been good for me, and with programs like this to get us more knowledgeable about business practices and how to run a business, we can even make more money and can even be more profitable for us. So we just got to get it done. And
there's the goal.
I'm hoping I've got a few more years left to push in that direction, although my push isn't near as hard as yours is, Trent. But I'll keep showing up.
I love it. I appreciate all of your insight because it goes back so far. Yeah, it'll be good. I was gonna do so. I'll share the. I was gonna share the screen really quick on this particular guide. Share. There's this guide that we talk about, table of contents. So 10 different chapters, but it goes into all the way down to basically leadership training as well. So we kind of train the trainer aspect of putting the guide together as well. So tons of resources, but I hope you guys can kind of thumb through this. I'd love to get feedback. You guys are going to be a lot of the first ones to see this. So if you could thumb through a lot of this and see what we're missing and what we need to add, it would be amazing. So we can continue to build that guide. So we got the outreach guide on how to teach them to outreach. We got the building and retaining guide so that we can maintain our staff. So we got a couple of important ones that are out there. So it's good stuff. I got let's see if I can show them, but we got this career video coming out here, and they're all on Oculuses. So this, you start to hear, let me turn my background off. Oops, not my video. Turn my background off. This is going to start coming out. So I just threw a sticker on there, but I bought, we have a whole 360 career view video for outreach. It's about 6 minutes long. It's all branded by Be a Surveyor. So you're going to see a lot of the outreach stuff coming out too, but those are fun. So questions?
How does that work, Trent? How does that work? How do those goggles work?
It was the whole video. So we shot 11 different scenes. It was done in North Dakota, sorry. And then it was all basically stitched together, but everything was shot with 360 cameras. And so when you put the Oculuses on, you can look around, you can look up, look at the bottom of the trees. We've got drone flights in there, so you almost feel like you're taking off with the drone and looking down and that kind of stuff. There was some 3D scanning aspect in there as well that we have the images and the video of the 3D scanning, but we're trying to extract the point cloud now and find a way to we got to create those 360 spherical images. And so I'm trying to find a software that we can get those images out of there so that we can throw that in the video. So it looks like you have the image of the 3D scanner and then you kind of go into a wireframe and then come back out type of thing. We tried all that stuff out of the Newbie Gone, but we couldn't get the right formats out of there.
So like if I was going to bring this to a school or something, is it a file that you would send to me? And if they have their own Oculus,
yep,
they can put it on and it's like a demo?
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
deal?
It's a day in the life of a surveyor. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
So
that's really cool. That is
yeah.
awesome.
So we just finished up the recording and got it all kind of approved last week. And so it was one of the things we've been working on for workforce development as well. It's been going on for like 18 plus months, but finally got everything shot. All the videos were shot in October and then video production over the last 2 months. So it's getting rolled out this week.
Wow. Well, is it
Yeah.
only the Oculus or will it work with the tablet as well?
I believe it's mostly Oculus because I mean, you can play just a regular 360 video. You know, we do have those video files too. So you could throw it on a tablet if you wanted to, but the objective is to get the kids to wear the goggles and kind of get a whole day in the life experience type thing. It
Very cool.
definitely it definitely takes it to another level. So
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
that
cool.
is awesome.
It was a company called Be More Colorful, and they have what's called Career View XR, and they're based out of North Dakota, and they do a lot of these. They have subscriptions with schools, and so they fronted the whole. It's a little over $25,000 for them to put the video production together. The plan is to at least try to get some states to license it so that they can have their own basically video license, and then they can buy their own Oculuses and that kind of stuff. So they're looking to, we supported each other in that aspect of it. So whatever we can do to help recoup their costs and that kind of stuff. But and then Be a Surveyor. So NCES obviously runs the hub and everything for Be a Surveyor, and they're working on purchasing what would be a couple of licenses and buying a few Oculuses as well. And then they're going to have it in their hub that you can go in and check it out, and they'll ship them to you if you got a career fair coming up. So states that don't necessarily have budget for outreach will at least be able to do it through NCs in the Be a Surveyor brand. So, yep.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. So
very cool.
You got, oh, I was trying to ask you questions, Shannon, if you had any last second wisdom.
We're here.
I know, I love it. Now that you got the screaming kids to bed.
Yes, that's the work life balance part that you talked
See?
about.
Exactly. I love it.
Nope.
So you guys are what, coming up on 3 years? Is it 3 years or 4 years?
3.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I had to think for that for a second. Woof. Yeah, 3 years in February.
Any wisdom for anybody? What's Nolan's wisdom? Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Do it. Just make sure you have a good, like you said, like attorney and
Yep.
I mean, just the network of surveyors even too. It's always been astonishing to me how close you all are with each other and can lean on each other. So that's huge.
Yeah.
Like network while you
point.
can.
Good point.
Everybody knows somebody for something to help with something somewhere. So it's a big one.
Yeah, that's cool. True story there. Love that.
But yeah, go for it.
There you go.
That's my wisdom.
I love it. As scared as you were.
Oh, Lord,
It's still-
terrified. Now I don't worry about it anymore.
It still has its days, but it's good.
It does. It's a lot better though.
Yep. Get a good coffee maker. I love that. 2.5 years and he's got a good coffee maker. That's
Coffee
awesome.
and caffeine.
There you go. Love that. Awesome, everybody. I get to see Jerry next week. I'll be in Wisconsin next week, so that's gonna be fun. And in Oregon, I'll see Troy and Nick and everybody in Oregon this week. So
Keep your eye on the weather. It's going to be cold.
I can't wait. Unfortunately, I was gonna stick around for the whole thing, but now we have a board meeting on and governance stuff on Thursday. So I land here at 1:30 on Thursday, and then I got to go to like our board governance training on Thursday afternoon, and we have a chapter meeting Thursday night and a board meeting on Friday. So I didn't get to stick around in Milwaukee as long as I wanted.
If it's really cold here and really warm when you get back, there's a chance your body's going to crack.
Right, exactly. I love it. All right, everybody. That was a good one. Safety. We're going to do safety next. Rob McMillan has a good safety presentation. So he is doing safety in 2 weeks. So on the 27th, we will be back with our safety presentation one. So, and then wisdom, we're off on wisdom until the 29th. We're rolling into all that conference season stuff. So we're jumping around a little bit, but 27th and 29th for mentoring and wisdom. And then maybe if we're lucky, we can get Jerry and Kyle and everybody. We can talk about our roundtable Tuesdays and get Kyle. You got any boundary issues we can start with or discuss right off the bat? Like to get,
Always.
all right. That'll be fun. I think we can, if we can get that one going, I think that'd be cool. So if we can possibly do that one. So, and then I'll work on a CST Thursdays situation and find out how we can do that. That's always been one of my other ones as well. I know it was kind of the goal for mentoring, but and we do that with Dane every once in a while, but I think a separate open dialogue conversation when it comes to study sessions, I think is probably a little bit better than just presentation style sessions. So we will work on all of those. And then of course, my other one I talk about is we had Todd Horton on a while back and so doing some survey boot camps. That's another one that I like to get goals for this year. So there we go. They're all out there. And it's only January 13th. So, all right, everybody. Have a great week. Talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Trent.
Thanks, sir. Bye, guys.